I keep a little stone sitting on my desk at work. It was given to me at the end of a faculty training, and they told us we would each receive the stone with a message meant just for us. My stone says inspire. And I keep it on my desk because when I'm feeling overwhelmed by all the things I think I should be doing, it helps me refocus on my real purpose for being there. I'm a psychologist, and as the director of wellness for a medical school, my job is to support others in their quest for work-life satisfaction. I found most people are motivated to strive for professional success, marked by higher salaries, impressive titles, prestigious awards. But commendable as it may seem, I think this approach is flawed. Instead, I hope to inspire my colleagues to pursue professional fulfillment by focusing on what brings meaning to their work and, by extension, to their life. This can be an uncomfortable shift. I know because throughout much of my life, I had fallen into the trap of chasing success. I took on every assignment, activity, or leadership opportunity that was presented to me, even if I wasn't particularly interested in it, because I thought I should if I wanted to be successful. So, I became one of those crazy, busy people we all know, and I did have a lot of success. I graduated summa cum laude from college with a triple major. I maintained a 4.0 while completing... Thank you. I maintained a 4.0 while completing 2 master's degrees and a PhD. And I received a bunch of honors and awards, some more impressive than others, like this one. But the pleasure I felt from these accomplishments always faded. And I eventually came to realize that there's an important distinction between professional success and professional fulfillment. And while many people think success will lead to fulfillment, I believe that the unreasonable pressures we place on ourselves in pursuit of success can impede our chances of being happy and fulfilled. For almost a decade, I've studied well-being among physicians. And even in this highly accomplished and esteemed group, depression and anxiety are common. Physicians are at higher risk for substance use disorders and suicide, and more than half of them are burnt out. These are people who are literally saving lives every day, and yet they still wonder if it's all really worth it. I wanted to understand how this could be. So I dove into the research on what brings meaning to our lives, and I didn't really find anything about awards or prestige or other traditional markers of success. Instead, I learned it's most essential that we invest in our relationships and our personal occupations. Now, importantly, this occupation doesn't have to be a career or even a vocation such as parenthood. It could be volunteering, or creating art or music, or fishing, or baking, or even fighting crime. But it must be meaningful. And this realization helped me understand why so many physicians feel unfulfilled and burnt out. In the modern American healthcare system, what it often takes for physicians to be successful is behaviors they may find unrewarding or even aversive, like shortening patient visits or spending lots of time on bureaucratic paperwork. And so the pursuit of success interferes with activities they find most meaningful, like connecting with patients or collaborating with colleagues, healing those who suffer. And outside medicine, similar trends can be seen across many other fields. As workers pursue promotions and raises, they may feel pressured to sacrifice their relationships by becoming more competitive and less cooperative, or spending more time at work and less time with family and friends. That's why so many of the most successful individuals are also the least happy. Rather than feeling fulfilled by their accomplishments, Many high achievers just compare themselves negatively against whomever's one step ahead and then revise their barometer of success accordingly. So they end up feeling like a hamster on a wheel, running and running, but never getting any closer to reaching a satisfying endpoint. It's exhausting. And trust me, I know. When I was 25, I thought it would be really impressive to finish my doctoral degree in 5 years, which was about 2 years quicker than average for my program. I was in the midst of my intensive clinical training year, and so every day I got to work at 7:30 a.m., I worked with patients until about 6 p.m., and then I came home and wrote my dissertation at night. I was overworking myself so much that one day on my way to see a patient, I actually fainted in a hospital elevator. Seriously. I entered the elevator on the ground floor and passed out sometime before we reached the 10th floor. Thankfully, when the elevator doors opened, there was an ER doctor and a nurse with an empty wheelchair waiting to board the elevator. So they just swooped me up and took me right back down to the emergency room, where I was officially diagnosed with exhaustion. There's a reason my little stone doesn't say impress. Looking back, I can see that I had bitten off more than I could chew, as they say. Aside from ending up as a patient in the hospital where I worked, I spent most of that year feeling really stressed out, and I missed out on a lot of fun. And the worst part is I don't even think that big accomplishment had a major impact on my career. But the reality is, many of us think we should deny ourselves opportunities that would bring meaning to our lives to work towards something that probably never will. We skip family gatherings because we think, I should study more. Or we blow off plans with friends because we think, I should finish this report right now. And then we justify this behavior by pledging to readjust our priorities once we accomplish the goal. But usually, the hamster wheel just keeps spinning. And that is why we psychologists like to say, stop shoulding on yourself. Because even though we think doing things that impress others will make us happy, the reality is we often set expectations that are unrealistic and unhealthy. And ironically, as Lin-Manuel Miranda pointed out, in order to function at our best at work, we need to take a break and focus on other important things in our lives. Now, I do realize that the idea of relaxing your drive for professional success may seem like settling for less than your best. And that can be uncomfortable, or unsettling, if you will. But I am not suggesting that you shouldn't work hard or give your best effort. Rather, let's redefine the terms of success to better match what actually brings fulfillment to our lives, cultivating relationships and doing meaningful work. When I think about my own career, I realize some of the hardest decisions I made involved giving up opportunities I thought I should take, turning down a fellowship at an Ivy League school, declining membership on a really important committee, giving up the prestige of a tenure-track position. But I knew that these opportunities, impressive as they seemed, would impede my pursuit of professional fulfillment. And in the end, it's worked out for the best. I took a position where I loved the work, and my passion translated to productivity. The kind that's rewarding, not the kind that leads to fainting in elevators. And this has had a positive impact on my career. Of course, it's overly idealistic and a little naive to suggest we should all just do what we love, because the reality is we all have bills to pay. But we can all be more intentional with our choices, big and small, to pursue either opportunities associated with metrics of success or those that offer a chance at fulfillment. We don't need a perfect job to do this. Research with physicians shows spending just 20% of our work time engaged in meaningful activities will protect against burnout. Now, you may be thinking, well, that sounds nice for doctors, but what about everyone else? because the reality is some jobs seem inherently more meaningful than others. So what can we do if we really don't enjoy our work? Well, rather than looking for work that is meaningful, we can find meaning in the work itself and redefine the terms of success once again. No matter your job, it can be fulfilling to know that your hard work is setting a positive example for your children. It can be fulfilling to know that by working, you're providing for your family, or nourishing others, or helping the economy, or spreading kindness to your customers. And while you may not receive special recognition for these efforts, you will be rewarded in more important ways. Each of us has the option to choose a life of meaning for ourselves, but it takes courage to stop chasing external validation. So, with my little stone in hand, I hope that today I've inspired you to pursue your own path to happiness by letting go of others' expectations of what you should do and embracing the belief that professional fulfillment is the ultimate measure of success. Thank you.